So here I am once again in the garage with another project on the boat before the season starts. I had one of those moments. I wish somebody would have told me this before I got into it. I actually did know, I just didn't want to spend the money. But basically what it comes down to is I bought the Lowrance FS-9 units and they only come with one network port. What does that mean? Is basically if you have active target, you can pick one, but you can't use the other one. If you upgrade to the HDS units, you get two network ports, so then you can link the units together and not have to worry about it. I ended up picking up the NEP-2 Lowrance Ethernet hub, and I'll show you that in 1 second. That is going to tie these units in and allow the active target to talk and work with both units. If it's helpful to you, like and subscribe, stick around, we'll get right into it. So here are the key components that you need to do this project. Basically, right in front of us, we got the network expansion pack, which is the NEP-2. That is the high-speed Ethernet hub, and it allows you to connect multiple network ports. I picked up an additional Lowrance Ethernet cable, which they don't give these things away. It's a pretty expensive one. I grabbed the longer one because I'm going to go from the bow to the console, where I'll show you where I end up mounting the NEP-2. And then to the right is basically the accessories pack. It's a power wire, pretty basic, and some mounting hardware. Taking a closer look at this NEP-2, we have obviously an expansion port, net 1, 2, 3, 4, net 5, and power. What I'm kind of surprised about, it's a very plastic box, not a whole bunch to it. I don't think it's anything you want to have exposed to the elements too much. So mounting it in a compartment, getting it tucked away, I'm sure will protect the ports as well as protect the device. So as far as hooking up the power goes, I'm going to end up using kind of a combination of the top and bottom, mostly the bottom. This is a diagram basically showing black goes to negative, red goes to positive. The yellow wire is actually a power control, so I'm going to actually tie that back into a switch. I may end up doing it with the same switch as the active target, or I may just do it to a constant power. I think that the network I always want on. Active target I like having on a switch so I can turn it off. Having all that sonar going in shallow water if you don't need it, you know, it's nice to turn those off. So that's basically the setup. We'll get right into the wiring. So what I'm tapping into here is I actually had a positive and negative lead at the front of the boat that ties directly into my master switch. I opted out of the accessories on for the network. While I do prefer my active target on a switch, I think the network I always want on, so whatever device is using it, it's available. Tinned wire. Highly recommend it. Using regular wire or cheaper wire, you're going to pay the price. Make sure you go out and get tinned wire for the marine environment. Freshwater or saltwater, it's going to save you a lot of hassle. Heat shrink fittings, key component, and a good set of crimps. These are a double crimp, so when I go down, I have the markings for the right colors. It gets a nice and tight double crimp right on them, doesn't split the casing, and allows me to finish the heat shrink. Getting the right components for the job is great. Obviously, I'm working in one of the world's smallest little areas, so you don't want to have to go back here if you don't need to. Do it right the first time, you won't have to worry about it a second time. Another great little addition for the heat shrink is this 503 torch. Fun little Amazon purchase. I'll link to everything below, including the crimpers, including the wire, just about everything I use in the project. This guy, you just move the back up, crack the bottom, and you can really precisely heat up the shrink wrap so you're not worried about other wires. Just move it along, don't overheat it, get it moving, you'll watch it start to shrink, and you have a watertight connection that's going to prevent chafe, that's going to prevent them from falling apart, and that's going to prevent you from having a problem on the water. And it's got a nice little kickstand to let it cool off too, so it won't melt whatever you put it down on. So I'm about ready to set up the power cable, and I think you can see them on the camera, but you have the yellow, you have the red, the black, and the blue. Blue's not really used. I'm going to take the red and the yellow, put those together, and the black's going to be on its own. These come pre-soldered, and I've definitely heard many different avenues, but pretty much the consensus is to cut off the solder, strip the wires, and get a clean connection if you're using the standard crimp. So if you know otherwise, or if you have your own input, definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What is also nice about these crimps is they lock, so I can get it halfway down to hold the end, get it where I need it, and finish it off. So I can get it right down on what I need. This is the red and the yellow, go into the red, get it to the spot I need, finish the crimp, and we're good to go. My next installation tip for you is definitely take advantage of these nylon cable clamps. They basically keep cables where they're supposed to be. It stops them from rubbing, stops them from jumping around, stops stuff from getting caught in them. Again, it's just another little accessory that'll save you pain and save you time later. What I'm gonna do with these, the power cord that's on this side, once I get it right where I need it, put the cable clamp in, and it'll be held nice and tight and not looping around catching on anything that's in the compartment. So you can see now how that cable clamp keeps it nice and tight. Got power on this side. That's going to the active target. And then on this side we have the two network cables are running up this way, and the power cord is going with all the others. A few zip ties later, here's pretty much what we ended up with. We have the active target right here. The power is coming in on the bottom over here, and we ran all the power on this side of the boat. The fish finder 1 and 2 are right there with the networks. And then what I do need to do is pick up one more, because see the little yellow tab right there? I need a short network cable just to plug in there, and we'll be live on both of the active targets on the Lowrance Elite FS-9s. I had a message for multi-source sonar change, and I just hit that and both units are restarting. We'll be able to see both units start up. Accept, accept. Obviously I'm in the garage, so the temperature is showing, which is good. Change the source, change it to the bow, and there we go. They are both talking, communicating. So the next adventure will be on the water. This is Mitz from Level Up Bassin. Again, like, subscribe, comment, helps out the channel, and we'll see you guys soon.